All right, Facebook. Features of Facebook. For those, do we have anybody that doesn't know anything about Facebook? Okay, no, that's cool.
Pretty close.
That's cool. Because we have people who are curious but are afraid to try it. We have people that are using it but don't know how to use it effectively. And we've got some pretty good experts, I'm sure, too. I'm no expert. I'm private. I'm an introvert. As much as I have to talk, I don't like to. But I don't like to put myself out there much. But I do want to communicate with my people. So there's that constant, do I say too much or do I not? I don't always practice what I preach, but I try. It's good for high social interaction. It helps suggest friends for you, people you may have lost touch with because of your connections with other people. It's great for expanding your network. This is the #1 reason to use Facebook for PD. It will help you get in contact with people you've lost touch with. And in a very easy and non-threatening way. It's free online chat feature. This is the little chat window here, and you can just Skype or whatever. It's actually a chat feature. They now have video chat as well, added to their features, I believe. I don't have a camera at home. I haven't tried it. It has, now you were mentioning the secret groups. It does have the ability to have a public, a private, or a secret group with group chat, so you could talk to everybody in that group at once that's online. Secret, okay, let me tell you what each one is. Public, anybody can see it, anybody can search for it, anybody can join it. Secret is they can find it, probably through a link from a person that's already in it, and they can request to join, but they can't see what's happening on the wall until they join. They just know it's there, and they know if people post to it, and they can probably see what people are posting to it if they're friends with them. Secret means that
Oh, that was private.
that was private. Secret means it will not show up on anybody's news feeds. So mine is secret. If people are posting pull requests, I don't want people seeing it on their little ticker on the side. I just don't want it. I want privacy. I want them to be able to be free to be themselves.
So that's why it's secret.
That's why it's secret. That does not mean that Facebook can't see it. The general public cannot see it. But, and my friends cannot see it unless they're in it. But if somebody was, if a government was doing a search on me, they would have access to all that stuff. Facebook has access to all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you still want to be careful. Again, once you put it out there, you have no control. But it is a good way for me to communicate with my partners who only do Facebook. And I have a few, and they're not my age. They're older than me, oddly enough. So that's one way. So I reach people that way. I reach people with MailChimp and with my newsletters. It's a lot of work. And I will say this about social media. You cannot do it all. Unless it's your job, you can't do it all. You pick and choose, and every format, like Twitter and LinkedIn and all these things, they have their own purpose. And they have really good strengths, but they also have really big weaknesses. They're usually created to do one specific thing. Facebook is to network. That's what it's all about. And the benefit of it, too, is that you can cross-post. So if you have a blog and your MailChimp newsletter, and you have a website, and you have Wycliffe stuff, you can put it all on Facebook, and people can find it in one place. It is potentially useful in PD. Again, the networking is a big feature. The chat feature is wonderful. If you see somebody pop up, I was helping, sorry, can I use an example? Yes. While you were in Cameroon, he would come up while I was at work and have PD questions, and I could just answer them right back. It was wonderful. And so I do use Facebook for work. When I see people pop up and they have a question, or I'll try to post tips. I don't really do much with that, but my dream is to set up a group for PD help. If I can get some other administrators and just pool our resources, in a place that people can get to. But it is just a tool. It is not for everybody, And if you're worrying about security issues, keep it personal, completely personal.
I would add that it's for, you need to be able to, it's just like church, you go into it, you have to give as well as get.
Right.
There is an aspect to that.
Yes.
You need to be participating in other people's Facebook.
Right. Being a lurker will not help you much. Almost all of my partnership team that are in my group are lurkers. So I'll post something, I don't get much feedback, but I know they're reading it, which is what, if I talk to them, I know. But they just sit and watch. They're afraid of the internet. But if you really want to start building communication online and really people you don't have access to otherwise, it is important to give feedback, to like things, to, you know, if they say something on your wall, write them back and thank them, or whatever's appropriate, answer them. Otherwise, it's like you're just walking away from them.
Wish them happy birthday.
Yes, it does tell you when people's birthdays are if they've entered it. I'm horrible with dates. I love that feature.
Yeah, that's great.
One other aspect is you need to get lots of comments and likes on your post for it to rise.
That's
for people
right.
to actually see it in their feed.
Yep, the algorithm, the way that it works with that is it'll show it to a few of your friends first, and then if more people like it, if they like it and think it's good, it'll show it to more of your friends, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So if you don't get a lot of reply right away, that's why. They probably haven't seen it.
And repetition too.
Yeah, you don't want to spam.
No, but I found that I
But it-
reposted my MailChimp
And you got
in
more
a
the
different
next time?
post, and I got different responses
Right,
from a different set of people who obviously hadn't seen it the first time around.
right. The algorithm is annoying to me. If I say
It
I
is.
want all my friends to see it, I want all my friends to see it. Right? Logical.
And
I like
it also
logic.
means I'm not getting to see what all my friends have posted.
That's
Exactly.
right.
And that's,
so-
really, that's very annoying.
So
Yes.
you
You
do.
have to go to your friend's page to find out.
Yep, and the more that you interact with their actual pages, it will show you more of their feeds in your wall.
Really?
Yep.
Because they're, oh, these guys like each other. Then they probably want to
Yeah.
see their stuff.
Tend to see the same.
Which is why I see Mary Lou's stuff all the time, because I like it.
Yeah. So, ways of connecting through your status update or other people's status updates. See something you like or that is interesting or you have in common, comment on it. Do be careful with your sense of humor, though. It can be misread, especially sarcasm. You can write on their walls. You can comment on their photos and things. You can send them private messages, again, as private can be. You can invite them. When I did a trip to Nebraska, I did an open house, and I sent everybody in that area invitation on Facebook. And they could RSVP, and we could just set up the time that we were going to hang out. Poking, don't do it.
Yeah.
Really don't do it. It's an electronic poke. It's annoying. It doesn't serve any purpose at all. It's just a little button with a finger and poke. The chat feature we talked about in the birthdays. There are applications. If you're a beginner, I'd say stay away from them. The people that make the applications that show up on Facebook are not regulated by Facebook. And what they do with the information you give them access to, you have no control over at all. So it's good to just not do it and block them. And if you get lots of invites, just block them. It's not, the people that are sending the invites aren't going to know, and you don't get it cluttering up your feed.
Especially avoid games.
Yeah, the games are the worst.
Yeah, they will annoy
Farmville?
your friends.
Farmville is everybody's nemesis.
Candy Crush.
What about the,
Hey, I play that one.
what about the app where people are asking for your birthday?
Yeah, I block those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Facebook
They're going to see your
natively
birthday
gives-
anyway.
So close to doing that.
They are going to see your birthday anyway in their little notifications.
So block the birthday.
Block them. Yep. And if you block them, they won't show up in your feed and bother you later. Sharing. Now, we talked about all the resources on the Wycliffe USA site and stuff. They have Facebook pages too. And that's a really good resource to get videos and little stories. And I have used them in my newsletters too. Because a lot of my people aren't on Facebook. And yet the stories are really good and they're short. And so you can share those. I share them in my group all the time.
So that's from Wycliffe's Facebook page.
Wycliffe's Facebook, Wycliffe USA, Wycliffe International,
Seed
Seed Company, Wycliffe Australia, Wycliffe Canada. Wycliffe Canada has good stuff too. A lot.
How do you do that, Michelle?
You find their pages on Facebook. Just do a search.
You
Wycliffe
like them?
Canada, and it'll show you.
Them, and then I just like.
And then you like them, and then they'll show up in your feed. Yep.
And you can take one step further and actually subscribe to them, and it'll
right.
actually show up in
It
your
will
feed.
actually show up in your feed. That's right. And
Is that true for your friends? If you're following them, will they automatically show up in
No,
your
you
feed?
can't do that for your friends.
your friends can set their settings whether they want things to be set to sent to subscribers or not. That's part of your privacy settings. Okay. Groups, we talked a little bit about groups, setting them up. It's actually really easy to set up a group. Causes, are those even? They don't really exist anymore.
No, I don't think so.
They're not effective. Let's put it that way. If you do share things, and the more Wycliffe friends you have, you'll start seeing that like 15, 20 of your friends start sharing something. You may not want to use it in a newsletter then. Maybe. The events, again, the same sort of thing as the invites. They kind of go together. So when the who's next door? Our recruiters. When they do their Friday night get-togethers, they usually send it out as an event and just have anybody join that wants to. And then prayer teams. Again, my people in my group are also a lot of my prayers. That's why I want that to be secret, so I can put prayer requests there.
Okay, so you would link groups and prayer teams, right?
I would, personally. There are other people that are much more free than I am. So.
Stay away
And you
from
need to know your
politics.
friends too. Yeah, again, remember you're representing. I had somebody while I was coaching them that posted an awful lot of political things that were really kind of on the edge. And I told them, I was like, this is actually hurting your testimony and it's hurting your PD. And so be careful. You know, don't change who you are, but be careful, be sensitive. But they were doing like 5 to 10 in an hour. And that's excessive. You know, my whole wall was just full of them. What shows up when you log in and you get that nice big wall of stuff that happens, only you see that. What other people see is on your wall. I'll show you the difference in a minute. But that's what people see, and even that you can control some of.
Yeah. And even if he tags you in a
a
photo
photo.
or something, you can say, I want this to go to my...
You can untag it. You
Yeah.
can have it untagged.
You
And you
also
can
set it
say
to-
not to show on your wall as well.
You can set it to where everything that you get tagged in, you have to approve.
Yep, and that's the way I have mine set up. And I actually ask people not to tag me. So. Ads, do not click on them unless you really are interested. If you do, you will be hunted by them forever. Forever.
If you buy something through Amazon.com, you'll
Yep.
start seeing ads for that.
Oh, yeah.
product
That's the
on
other
your
thing. Is
Facebook.
if you're browsing if you're in other browsers doing things while Facebook is still logged in, it's tracking that. And it'll start targeting you with ads.
Logged in, even though you don't have Facebook open.
So it's good to log out and log back in.
Mm.
Yeah. Don't waste time. It can be very easy to lose track of time. When people are first getting started, I'm like, set yourself a time limit. Set a timer. And do what you need to do. Be intentional. So, now if you don't have anything else to do and if you're communicating with people and building those relationships, that's good. Ignore people in applications if you need to. We'll talk about that. That was related to Ken's question. Say no to app requests. It's okay, really. Your friends will not hate you. They might cry, but they won't hate you. Ladies, to use your maiden name as your middle name will help you reconnect with people from your past
Mhm.
if they're searching for you.
I have heard that could be a security issue.
It can be if you don't want to be found. It can. But you mean for people impersonating you? Yeah. I really don't know. I mean, that's up to you. I wasn't even using my real name until I became a coach and needed to have people find me.
It is
So.
real common though to use the maiden name. I've
Mhm.
seen it all the time.
Yeah. And some people use one or the other, and not both. Regularly update your security preferences. Facebook does change them often. Every 6 weeks, every 6 months minimum. And I usually try to check at least once a month. Just go into my settings and see, because sometimes they rearrange it and do little things that you don't realize they've done. You can use it for good. Created for relationship. And we need to remember that we're reflecting God's character. Be a shining light without blinding people in the process. Some people can get very preachy in their posts as well. I love what Mary Lou, she cross-posts devotionals a lot, or a Bible verse, but she doesn't comment on it. She just posts it. And I think that's lovely. Okay, this is my group page. So I've got a picture. You do want to have a picture if you're going to have a page, even on your own profile page. It shows people that you're actually there. So, okay, this was my newsletter that I posted last night at midnight-ish, 16 hours ago. And that was the main photo on my thing, and it showed up. This is directly from MailChimp. I didn't do it in Facebook, I did it in MailChimp, and this is how it looked.
Where? Yeah, that is Joan.
So if I click on that, what? Joan?
That's Joan.
She gave me permission. She did not know what I was going to do to her, but she did give me permission. Okay, so I clicked on that link to go to my newsletter, right? So from here, excuse me, people can now subscribe directly. They can share it if they want to. And then they can go back into my archive. If this is the first one they've ever seen, they like what they read. They're silly, but they can do that. They can go back into my past issues and start at the beginning and follow my journey.
Now this is MailChimp?
This is MailChimp
Okay.
from Facebook. I clicked on the link. This is where I came.
Oh, cool.
This is where it lives. So this is my masthead. I use it for all my praise and prayer. I have a different one for my quarterly newsletter.
I know nothing about Twitter.
I am going to talk very, very briefly about Twitter. Twitter is not useful for PD much
Okay.
because it is like your Facebook wall on crack. So unless you are posting things every minute or two or every 5 minutes or something, what you post is going to be at the bottom of the feed in no time at all. And only people that are only watching it all the time are going to see it. So unless you're posting all the time, now what it is good for, if you're on Twitter, you can follow your partners. And then if something happens and, you know, if somebody graduated, now you have a reason to talk to them and congratulate them. You know, it's good for information, not so good for the putting out. Does that make sense? No. Yes. Okay. Yes? No?
It's good for information.
Everybody's writing.
Also good for what?
It's good for incoming information,
Oh, okay.
not good for disseminating information. So, okay, so this is what my newsletter looks like. If you got it in an email, it would look just like this, except it wouldn't have that bar, sorry, this bar at the top. You can't see my monitor. Okay? And it would also have my address at the bottom. It does not because it's public, it's not showing my address, it's only showing the Wycliffe address. Okay? This is good. I live alone. I don't want my address out there. And your account number doesn't matter to anybody else outside of Wycliffe. So it's not bad to have it out there. You see at the bottom, find me on Facebook. That links directly to my Facebook page. That links to my online ITP. And that goes right back to my email. They can unsubscribe from here. They can update their email address or anything else they want to update in their profile, right there. And then they can forward it. You can take that off. You don't have to have that there. And I'll show you at the top real quick.
So we don't have to have our personal contact information on our MailChimp newsletters.
I use my office information. I don't use my personal information. I don't ever use my personal information on
Okay,
them.
but that used to be the rule for newsletters.
Right, but it is
That
a contact.
changed?
It is a contact information for me here on the center.
Right.
So you do need to have a contact address. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
it's
it
good.
doesn't have to be your home address, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
For the free version, you will have to have a MailChimp logo on it. If they click on it, it'll take them to MailChimp. But that's the price of having it free. And you can choose which one goes on it. They have all sorts of different options. Now, when you sign up, we'll talk about this on Thursday. Sorry. At the top here, again, because I had somebody report me as spam, I made sure that this is at the top. This protects me if I get reported for spam again, because I have told them why they're getting my newsletter. They signed up for it. Just reminding them, because if I don't send one for a long time, they might forget. Or if they're new to the list, they might forget. And it tells them they can unsubscribe at the bottom. If they can't see it, then they can view it in the browser.
Okay.
Now this comes up, this is actually default. That comes up if you want it. If you don't want it, you can just get rid of it. Okay? So, if I went back and looked at my reports, it would show as another new click on my Facebook activity. Okay, how to block somebody from your newsfeed. Okay, this is your newsfeed wall. When you log in, yours won't look like this. It'll look like yours with your people on it. So now you're learning a lot about me. Okay, so I suddenly don't want to hear from Paul anymore. I'm going to hover over on the right side. See that little arrow that comes up? If you click on it, you can get notifications from him, or say, I don't want to see this, or if I unfollow him, then I won't see him at all. I won't see any of his posts in my wall again.
There's other options if you click, if you hover over his name.
That's right. But that's just if you want to clean up your wall, you don't want to see, especially if you have a repeat offender that's always doing things, just
Or if it's-
unfollow
Or
them.
if it's an app
Okay.
that's
Yes.
sending you stuff.
Unfollowing is not unfriending.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Unfriend it, they know. Unfollowing, they don't.
They don't know if you unfriend them,
Oh, really?
unless they're really watching their numbers.
So eventually
Yeah.
they'll figure it out.
Eventually, yeah. When they're like, I was right at like 200, and then I was down to 199. Somebody left Facebook. It wasn't actually, and it just showed that I had one less friend, but there was still a box with no name there and so I was like, what? You know, it took me a while to figure out that's what happened, but they quit Facebook, and it does happen. It's not for everybody. Now, if you hover over their name, I see a picture of his profile stuff, and then I have him as a friend, but if I click or hover there, there's more things. If I want to hear more from him, I get notifications. And I can say what list I have him in. That's one way to answer your question, you can arrange your friends in groups. Like I have my yarn buddies, I do a lot of knitting and crocheting and stuff, and I'll send stuff just to them so my feed is not crowding everybody's stuff with yarn, because I know some really don't care. You know, I have others that really like cats. I like cats, but I don't post a lot, but I only send it to the cat people. You know, but it's a privacy thing, and then you're not spamming people, you're targeting your interests. Does that make sense? People I don't know in real life, they're my acquaintances, and I can, if I'm, here, I'll show you. This gets really technical. But this is my homepage. This is what I look like. I have minions.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, but
Which one is you?
Banana.
that one.
Are the minions from Despicable Me?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, they're from McDonald's, but yes.
Oh, they're dolls.
I collect McDonald's toys, and I like
That's
minions.
from her desk.
That's my desk in my office. Many of you have already seen it. So, okay. Anybody remember what I was going to show you?
Groups.
Groups
Right.
arranging friends.
Okay, so if I'm going to post something, let's say, what's on my mind?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Cows.
Cows.
Cows. Your cursor in the corner.
okay. I am going to post this, by the way. This is not just for display. But now, see where it says friends?
Mm-hmm.
I can go in there and say, friends accept acquaintances. And so all my close friends will see that. Or everybody that's not labeled as an acquaintance group. They're in that group. I can do it only me. Sometimes I do that if I have a recipe or something that I want. I don't necessarily care if anybody else sees it.
Interesting.
The other thing you can do with that is message it to yourself. Share and share it in a message to yourself. You can do that too. That's the other thing with sharing. You can do it as a message rather than putting it on somebody's wall. Just, I prefer that, personally.
You're blocking from the side. How did you get there?
I was just hovering over the friends
Oh,
here. This is Cal. Okay,
She'll love that feature.
okay.
it's the slant. My mouse keeps moving. But this controls who can see what you're going to post. Now, if you change it from the default, the next time you go to post, it's going to stay where you had it. So if you want all your friends to see it, you need to move it back.
Okay, so
That's good to know.
you can control what people see. But the thing is, if they decide they want to go and look at your timeline,
This is my timeline.
can they see what's on your timeline? No.
They only see what you
If
say
they're
they
in the
can see.
acquaintances and I said everybody but acquaintances, they won't see it.
Could you stop and go back a little bit for those of us who don't know what we're doing? What is a timeline?
Okay.
What is a wall? What is... Because it's just too much information for me. That-
I'm going to go ahead and post this.
Now, do you have
Okay, and
custom-
I can do a smiley face. How am I feeling? I am feeling. How am I feeling? Click on the arrow. Excited. Yay! Are we happy? Yes, we're happy. Let's post it. It'll make people smile. It will not make them cry. Okay, so if we get any feedback, this could be fun. But I have a lot of lurkers, so we may not.
They're the lurky loos.
I have lurkers. I also have people have jobs where they can't be on Facebook. Okay, so this is my timeline. This here. I can see everything I've posted on my timeline because I am me. I mean, really. I'm not just being silly. That's
and
true.
that is also your wall.
No.
No, okay,
This would be my wall to other people. This is what they see.
okay,
Okay? This is my time. They see my timeline.
okay.
Now, if you go up, this is where your privacy settings are, by the way. Okay? And you can click on each one of those things and set the settings the way you want them. And this one, activity log, that's another way you can clean up things that you don't want shown. So you posted something and you don't want it showing anymore, it's not applicable, it's just silly. You can go into your activity log and delete it. Or you can just hide it from your timeline if you want to keep it, but you don't want people to see it anymore. If I change my profile pictures a lot, I'll often go hide them so it's not cluttering up the feed. And then you have settings here that will give you a lot of settings for more control. Okay? This is a lot of stuff. And I know some of you are at starting level. I do, when I have time, I do one-on-one coaching with this type of stuff. But my coaches come first. So, but if you're interested, we can try to set up a meeting, you know, and I do this with MailChimp as well. Okay. I clicked on the F. If I clicked on newsfeed, it would still bring me to this. This is my wall,
Okay.
or my newsfeed. This up here is a ticker, and this shows you what people are doing in real time, unless you've hidden what they're doing, and then you won't see them there. Okay. So, did I answer your questions about how to block things and hide things?
That's very helpful. Right.
If you hide it, you're hiding the individual post. Now that's mine, I can't hide my own post. Another thing, if you start with Facebook, is
Google that and you'll find
under your preferences up here, the notifications. You can be notified every time somebody talks on your timeline. You can be notified every time somebody sends you an email. You can be notified on all sorts of things. You can turn those off. And I recommend it if you don't like a lot of spam email.
My Gmail
Yeah.
gets that.
I only get notifications if somebody tags me in things, because I want to know. There's a lot about Facebook and the best ways to do Facebook. That's okay. Again, in that Pinterest folder. Now, for those of you who don't know what Pinterest is, I will show you.
That's Pinterest.
This is Pinterest. What Pinterest is, okay, this is my board, my whole board.
Profile.
My profile, thank you. And each one of these is its own bulletin board. Think of it like a bulletin board with pictures pinned up. And what is pinned are bookmarks. They're visual bookmarks. And if you click on them, they take you to the web page that they came from. I'm a visual person. I love this. Plus, I can group them. So I have this forward. That's what that address there is. That's for this folder here. I have all sorts of things. So if you clicked on this, which we're going to talk about in a minute, it would take you to that infographic where you could see it nice and clear and see everything that's on it. Now, not all of them have accurate links. I'm trying to go back. There is potential for spam through this and people sending you to bad links. I try to be very careful about that. And then I go back and try to find the original source. So if it's been there a long time, the closer to the bottom it is, the longer it's been there. Then, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
You control this board, right? You
I control
put
this.
links on.
me alone.
Right.
Yes.
So how does spam get in?
The creator, whoever, if I repin somebody's link, which almost all of these are repins, because I browse and look for things and get them from other people, because I don't always know where to look for stuff. But they may not be good links. But I do check them before I pin them. They just may not be the original source.
Yeah.
And I'm big on copyright. I like original sources. Okay. Now you can have other people pinning to your boards. I have one here of Paw and Whisker, and I have other people that can post to this as well.
Oh, that's cute.
Sometimes you just need something fuzzy. So, how can we use this for PD?
and the
There is this is one of the biggest growing social media things going on right now. Pinterest is huge, and especially around women, teens, and older. Primarily for crafts and recipes, and
Recipes.
if you're trying to plan something. But this is a folder that I started, caring for others. You find a lot of ideas of how to take care of people, how to do little things to build those relationships. So as I find things that I think are really cool, then I pin it so I don't forget, because I'm forgetful. You know, if somebody's sick, you can put together a care package for them.
My son actually was, a company in California purchased his Pinterest page for $4,000.
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah, marketing is really starting to come in. This is still relatively new. So it hasn't been abused badly yet. It will come. But for right now, it's wonderful and it's very simple to use.
It's a way of sharing your passions.
Yeah, it really is. You know.
So people come to your Pinterest site and just
Oh
to
yeah,
look around?
random strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not a privacy. You can't set privacy, except you get 6 boards that are secret. They're just for you. Nobody else can see what you put on there. And they did that at Christmas time so that people could do Christmas presents and stuff. But otherwise, all of it's public. And it's all stuff from around the web. You can upload personal pictures if you want to, but I only do like my knitting projects. I wouldn't put my own pictures up there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is public stuff.
It's not a photo sharing site, really.
No, it's not like Instagram or something like that.
So
Okay.
how does it help with PD?
Well, for me, I use it to keep track of things so that I can bless others.
Okay, so that's mostly that, in that aspect, it's for you.
It's
not
for me.
So much at your
Right, it's not,
PD for
not for
community
them,
now, okay.
but it, you know, if you're looking for ideas, it's a good way to search. for
But
things.
if your passion is language documentation, and you want to share just all the articles you find on the web about language documentation and
Mhm.
why language matters, I mean, you could have a why language matters
You
board,
really can.
and
Or
you
a
could
travel
just-
one, or-
and it's a way to promote what you're passionate about related to your role.
Right.
I have an archiving one, just of archives and archivists.
Yep.
And other people who are interested come in and repin. I go to other boards and repin their work. I mean, it's just a way of sharing information with people who also share your interest.
Right. And like, I have mine for work. It's helping you guys.
But
Hopefully.
one of the reasons I see it is as a means of being able, I could point my partners to it and say, you want to know about archives, which is something that not a lot of people know about. Here's a bunch of articles about what archivists do.
And they have to have a picture for you to be able to pin them.
Yes.
Okay.
So there is visual things to go with what you're talking about, which is helpful in your
Mhm.
case, especially.
Yes.
Archiving is not something you normally have pretty pictures that come up with.
Does it tell you if you've already pinned something?
It does. It does now. Yes. It didn't used to. And then as people are repinning things, see, I have people who started following me.
Including
Thank
me.
you. You just made my day. Okay, this is the site I'm the most popular on, by the way. I'm not popular anywhere else, but here I really am. You know, and people, it just tells me people like this or this or this. They repinned it or they liked it. You can just put a little heart and they like it. You know. So
This is for real web surfers.
it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't like it, don't.
Yeah, that's
And you can waste a lot of time there.
A lot of that
Well, you
I
could
get
waste a
from
lot of
following
time
other
doing
people's
a lot of
boards.
things.
But the other thing too with Pinterest is you can put a little,
Well, I don't have one set
see that
up
little
for
P
yet,
there?
but I might do that.
As I'm browsing websites that I'm visiting, if I highlight the title of it and click on that, it'll open a way for me to pin it directly to my board. I don't ever have to go on Pinterest to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
as I'm finding things for work, that's what I do. You know,
I like
So
that
often
top
if
one.
you're on Facebook and somebody puts an article that would fit on your board, you can click on the article, read it, and then you can pin it to your board.
Mhm.
Or you can pin it to your board to read it later.
yep,
as opposed to putting it on your timeline.
right.
It's a different
So,
place to put it.
so say you don't like Facebook, you can do this. You can have a whole folder full of Wickless videos and their, you know, their stories, and you could send people to that link and they can go and browse. Or you could send them to the original links. But if you have a collection of stuff that's related to what you're doing,
Yeah.
then it's more focused.
Yeah. You could also put the links on your website, but they won't have the picture with it. It'll just be a URL,
right.
and it's
The
like,
pictures are enticing.
yeah,
They really are.
that's cool.
All right, so one of the things I wanted to cover too is senior citizens in social media. One thing I hear over and over and over and over is that older people are not online. That is not true. In fact, it is one of the biggest, fastest growing demographics.
It is true for my mother.
Age 74 and up. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? What they're looking for is learning to use Google to search for things, browsing Facebook, news feeds. Now I find a lot of them are on Pinterest as well. A lot of them. And YouTube. So how they're interacting is on a personal level. That's what they're there for. They want to connect to people. So if your older people are connecting with you on Facebook, you need to reply to them. That's important to them. One of the things I got asked on the break was about starting an effective blog. Follow your heart. Again, your passion. If you're passionate about something, you're more likely to stick with it.
Is that on your Pinterest?
This is also on my Pinterest. I like infographics. They
They're
put
visual.
a lot of stats in interesting ways. So discover your voice, be genuine, that's important. Be yourself, be lighthearted. Again, sarcasm doesn't translate well in the printed word. And depressing and sad thoughts people just won't read. Stay focused, so people come to your blog, they know what to expect. If you're going to talk about family, talk about family. You know, if you're going to talk about life where you're at, talk about life where you're at. If you want to talk about birds or squirrels, do that.
Squirrel.
Where?
I just sent you an email about squirrel.
We've had many discussions about squirrels. Choose your tactics. Simple blog names are easy for people to remember in case they don't bookmark them. Now this is actually written from a professional's point of view, not from a personal blogger's point of view, but there are still some really good things here. And you can, with your blog, you can do just photos. If you're not the type who likes to write, but you're artistic, you can share that way. Whatever your skills are, what you're passionate about. But it's communication. Communication's good. And engage your readers. Respond, again, to comments and emails. You know, if you start a blog, people will generally start to comment, unless they're lurkers. And it's good to comment back. It's a good etiquette. And be kind.